I've had the opportunity, I've been blessed with the opportunity to be asked over the years, what should we be taking? And in this picture here, I don't know if this laser, the laser does work. This is Florine Mark, who started Weight Watchers. This is Andrew Weil, and this is me. Again, I have a shiny forehead today. It's very hot up here, and I got a shiny forehead over here, as you can see as well. It was hot in the picture too, so I apologize for that. But you can notice that my list is very long, and everything on this list is really what the ViPak is made of. And so what I tell people is the Hopkins newsletter comes out and says smart people take a good multiple vitamin in A, C, and E. And then I say, that's good, but really smart people take that plus extra zinc and selenium and copper and manganese, because those things are necessary to make your superoxide dismutase, your glutathione peroxidase, and your catalase enzymes work that detoxify us from oxidation and from free radicals. And then I say really smart... And then I say, really smart people take that plus acetyl L-carnitine, alpha-lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, glutathione, which happens to be in the anti-age energy formula, patented formula. And then I say, and really smart people take all of that plus N-acetylcysteine, resveratrol, the grapeseed extract we've done a lot of studies on, funded from the NIH, and many other ingredients that help balance, such things as ginseng, such things as horsetail sage and burdock, which are great for fingernail, hair, and bone growth. I used to be bald before I started this position here, as a matter of fact. I'm growing my hair back. So, you know, you stop and you say, oh my God, that's going to be 20 pills. And the answer is no, it's like, 6 pills, which is what's in the ViPak. So everything that we think that you need to be taking happens to be in the ViPak. And that's, kind of exciting. This is what a patent looks like. They issue this from, the United States Patent Office, and there's a couple patents that back the ViPak, so that's quite nice. So the ViPak is the patented anti-age and energy formula. I've just sort of rattled off some of the compounds in there. We've shown, and actually this is done in a couple of laboratories now, a laboratory in Italy and a laboratory at the University of California, Berkeley. And what they've found is that by putting this stuff in, and they used rats, pardon me, but they used animals, and they basically took 36-month-old rats, which is the equivalent of about a 95, 96-year-old human, very old and crotchety. These rats, if you've ever seen them, it's really interesting because we've done studies where you do caloric restriction to make people live longer and make any kind of species live longer. And so when you look at the animals that eat whatever they want and you follow them out throughout their lifespan, they walk and they move around and they have, kind of dirty whiskers and they don't look very clean. They're kind of unkempt and they look like what you'd see a 96-year-old man in a nursing home. That's what these 36-month-old rats look like. So what happens is they put this stuff in the drinking water of these very old rats, and then they put them into mazes. We use Morris water maze, which is like a water bath, and they swim to a little platform. And the rats, after 6 weeks of putting this in the drinking water, behave, so cognitively, mentally, behave like an 18-month-old rat. If you translate that to human years, and there's a big if there, there's no doubt, but if you translate that to human years, that's like taking a 95, 96-year-old human and making him behave and act like a 45-year-old human. So that's exactly what we saw in an animal model. And perhaps more compelling for the scientists in the crowd and the people who need the data is what was even more exciting is we measure mitochondrial function, and mitochondrial function declines with age. And when you put this in the drinking water of these animals, their mitochondrial function reverts back to the more youthful age. So it actually matches about that 18-month. So a 36-month-old, a 90-year-old human behaves and acts like a 45-year-old human or an 18-month-old animal. And their mitochondrial function also reverts back to like a 40-year-old human. So we have this data. It came out of the University of California, Berkeley. Gadaletta out of Italy did some data showing it improves memory and cognition. So it's very exciting stuff, and it's patented, and we have it, and it's in the ViPak. So there are other things on there, the antioxidant formula, the essential oils formula. Basically, when you take an essential oils formula, we're trying to get mostly omega-3s. I do have some 6s in there because I believe in the botanical sources, and the botanical sources, such as evening primrose oil, such as pumpkin seed oil, which is good for men and women alike, have lots of 6s as well. So there are some 6s even though we don't need them as much. And most companies will give you about a 3-to-1 ratio, which is the Mediterranean diet. That's wonderful, of omega-3s to 6s. We give you 12-to-1. And I do that because I think our diets, generally speaking, are not very good, and even if they weren't, there's just very compelling information to suggest that we can reduce our risk of heart disease and stroke and Alzheimer's and make ourselves live a healthier lifestyle by appropriately supplementing with the omega-3s and 6s. So people always ask me, why is the ViPak better than the rest? Well, the ingredients are from natural sources, so more than 95% are from botanical sources. The doses are really selected from the most comprehensive resources that demonstrate a protective benefit. So we've looked at each and every single ingredient and put in that amount where data has shown that we can reduce the risk of certain types of diseases and disorders. So we know that there is evidence that you can reduce your risk of breast cancer through appropriate supplementation using the appropriate nutrients, and that's what's in the ViPak. We know that we can reduce your risk of prostate, colon, and breast cancer by taking the appropriate kinds and types of selenium. That's what's in the ViPak. So we've basically done that with each and every single nutrient, and there are more than 70 in the ViPak, to give you the benefit, the health benefit that has been reported in not one study, but in hundreds of studies or in thousands of studies in some cases. So lots of science to back up the power behind the ViPak. We're made in an FDA-inspected laboratory. I talked to you about that before. So that means, for example, the ginkgo that comes in from Asia gets sent out to a third-party laboratory, gets analyzed, and they verify that it indeed is standardized for 24% ginkgo flavonoids and 6% terpenes before it goes inside the ViPak. So everything gets done in a very dot your I's, cross your T kind of a way. We already talked about the patented formula. Briefly, I'll mention the ORAC value if I can. Yeah, there it goes. The ORAC value stands for the oxidation reduction absorption capacity, which is the ability of a product to scavenge free radicals. And what we found is when it was sent out, Nick actually sent this out without my knowing it and just said, hey doc, he says, you know, I sent our product out with USANA and Pharmanex and Whole Foods, and says, how do you think we'll do? I said, I don't know, Nick. I hope we'll do pretty well. It's a good product, you know, you never know. And, you know, I had some concerns because the other companies out there are doing a pretty good job, some of them. So the long story short is we scored in the low 800s for our ability to scavenge free radicals. The higher the number, the better the scavenging capabilities. And Pharmanex, which makes a nice product, was in the mid-5s. USANA, which is also a good product, was in the high 4s. Whole Foods, which is a very good product, was 285. We were almost 4 times the power of absorbing and scavenging free radicals. So there's some very good companies out there. It's not that they're bad, it's just that I think we're a little bit better. So I think we've really created some nice products for you and for me and for everybody who needs them, which is, in my opinion,